before we get started. Um, very quickly. Now that is something that I didn't do overnight. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas, and I stand here before you today to speak to you about the power of incremental progress and the value of patience. My life hasn't been one of instantaneous success or overnight transformations, very far from that. Rather, it's a journey defined by progress, persistence, and an unwavering belief in my capabilities. As you can see, I was born with an amputated right arm. In fact, this wasn't something that my parents were aware about. No ultrasounds, no tests had shown that I'd be born with an amputated right arm. It has undoubtedly shaped how I view myself and how I view the world. However, I never let it stop me. Many people see it as a limitation, but I'd rather see it as a challenge. A unique challenge that every day I wake up and a new lesson is learned and I'm taught something new every single day. Despite the challenges posed by my arm, I've always been very deeply involved in my community. On the bigger scales, like competing at the Paralympic Games, competing at World Championships in swimming, reaching the highest level belts in judo, and making it to the final rounds of the football national team, and even smaller tasks, like doing my lace, wearing a watch, doing my buttons. These all have taught me something. Every milestone was reached with my condition in plain sight. But when I set my heart on a goal, no obstacle, visible or invisible, would be able to stop me. A quote from one of my favorite philosophers, a Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, says that, "Do not think that what is hard is impossible to achieve. Do not think that what is hard is humanly impossible. As if it is humanly possible, consider it to be within your reach." My journey has been very much about embracing this philosophy, because even though I do things very differently, it is not impossible. Nowadays, with easy access to lots of information and lots of data, we get caught up in the desire for instant gratification. We want something, and we want it now. However, that should never be the case. It is countless steps taken day after day, year after year. If I win the morning, especially a Monday morning, I would have probably won the day. If I win the day, I'll win the week. Win enough weeks, and you'll win the month. And if you win enough months, you win the year. And enough years will lead you to a very successful life. Each step may seem very insignificant on its own, like one penny in a piggy bank. However, those put together will lead to something much bigger. There's one particular challenge in my life which I recall very vividly, and that is the famous two-story rope. On Sundays, I used to attend extra sessions for judo to improve my game. It was where the higher-ranked belts used to train, and they used to see them warm up on this rope, climbing, using their arms only, from sitting down. It was always so impressive. And I said, how cool would that be if I would do that one day? Years passed, and I find the challenge right up in front of me again. It was in a gym, a two-story rope. Now, it had a bell at its peak. I gripped on. I said, I was full of determination. I gripped on. Maybe I lasted 10 seconds, and gravity reclaimed its hold. Tried again and again. Weeks had passed. Slow progress. Each climb, I did learn something new. And I had reached a personal milestone a few months in, and that was halfway up the rope. Little did I know that climbing up the rope required just as much energy and then climbing down, as I didn't want to hurt and fall. I wanted to do this every single day. Few weeks passed by, and eventually, after a minute of hard work, it led to this. All right, so that was probably one of the longest minutes in my life, if I'm being honest. Um, a few efforts later, I wasn't happy with that. That was the first step. It was one more step, one more coin in my piggy bank. I want to do it better. I want to do it faster. And a few more tries eventually led to this.
Nice, Tom, all the way. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
I always had to hear that bell ring. I had to always reach out and hold on, even if I fell. I just needed to hear that ring. Um, uh, James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, puts it simply. He says that you do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. You're only as good as your daily habits. You're only as good as the efforts you put in day by day, year by year, to reach the goals you want. Every action, no matter how small, is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. There's no way that you're going to turn up one day and do everything you desire to the level of efficiency you want. It is going to take lots of time. For me, every challenge I faced due to my physical condition or physical disability became an opportunity to grow from. Each fall taught me something new. I grew a bit more resilient. I became a bit stronger, both mentally, physically, holistically as a person. My path was never about competing with others as much as I enjoy it. I like the element of competition. But it was more about competing with myself, being a better version than I was yesterday, just that 1% better, each time adding to my book that is my life, writing a new chapter every day. Obviously, there are many times of doubt and frustration. Not wanting to get out of bed isn't something foreign. It was times where I used to doubt myself and say, am I really going to be able to do this? I've spoken it out into the world. Now, is that even possible for me to do? However, each time I used to get closer to my goals and say, all right, it's not too bad. In those times, the value of patience came in. The value of being patient even though results aren't showing. And those are the days you need to turn up the most. So, obviously, I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. I want you to imagine, right now, I want you to imagine what motivates you, what keeps you going even in those times, what keeps you goal oriented, what keeps you positive in times of frustration and overwhelming. I'm sure you all know what it is. Now, I want you to create a visual token of that thing. It could be an armband. For me, it's a little token. It could be a photo in your wallet. It could be a photo on your phone, whatever it would be. Now, with that said, when you look at this, think of it as a new push. Think of it as a switch. That as soon as you see it, you're going to get back on track and say, all right, this happened. Now I'm looking forward to see how I'm going to do better. Another quote from a famous philosopher says that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but it's your perception of it. It is how much you want it to affect you, and you have the power to revoke that. Our perception shapes our reality. Instead of viewing my arm as a limitation, I chose to see it as a source of strength, a source of motivation, a daily reminder that I've overcome every single challenge I've reached so far, and I'll continue to do so for the rest of my life. My journey was one filled with successes and setbacks, positives and negatives, ups and downs. But through it all, the values of incremental progress and patience always kept teaching me that even though maybe I'm not feeling my best. I'm just doing a bit better. I'm doing a bit better than yesterday. Maybe today's not the day. Let's try it for just one more day. So to each and every one of you, I say this. Embrace the power of small steps. Cultivate patience and perseverance. Recognize that your journey is unique and it's unique to you, and that's what makes it beautiful. And always remember that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. In conclusion, I encourage you to recognize the small victories in your life. They are the building blocks of your success story. And remember, with consistent effort, belief, motivation, discipline are the most important, and consistency, no goal is out of reach, no dream is too big, and nothing is impossible. Thank you.